welcome to the programme. This week we're coming to you from Earl's Court in London, which for the next 10 days is the home of the British Motor Show.
Yeah, it's the biggest event in Britain this year. 500,000 people are expected. But if you can't get to the London Motor Show, don't worry, because we'll bring the London Motor Show to you.
Okay, so there's no way that this show is as vast as the Frankfurt Motor Show, but there still is an incredible amount for you to see. And it's easy to be waylaid and simply head for the biggest stands and the brightest lights. But don't make that mistake, because you'll be missing out on an awful lot.
Of course, you must go and see things like the new Citroën Zara, the Astra, which takes pride of place on the Vauxhall stand, and you mustn't miss Volkswagen with its 4th generation Golf hogging the limelight. Over at Land Rover, their new baby, the Freelander, not the Freeloader as many journalists are suggesting, is on show to the home crowd for the first time.
And this one next to me is a soft top version, featuring body kit and lots of chrome. Would you believe they're just a couple of the up to 100 optional extras you can get for this vehicle? So really, come along and take a closer look at it.
But remember, new though all these vehicles are, in just a few months you'll be able to visit your local dealer, see one in the metal, and even take one out for a test drive.
For me, the beauty of a motor show is that it gives you the chance to drool over cars you just don't get to see every day. To gaze at and to maybe even slip behind the wheel of the cars that you could only ever dream about owning. So here's my guide to the supercars, to the show stealers. And don't you dare go home until you've seen every one of them.
If I had to see just one car at this motor show, I would have to choose the new 911. It's the most radically different 911, far bigger than the old, and of course featuring a water-cooled engine, which will no doubt give the purists something to moan about. But it's still jaw-droppingly beautiful, and you get the bonus of its smaller and cheaper sister, the Boxster. Right alongside a real piece of history, a glorious 1958 Porsche Spider. It's one of only 39 ever made, and it's still in immaculate condition. The small British manufacturers have really done themselves proud this year, with launches galore. Celebrating 40 years of the 7 shape, Caterham have unveiled their 190 brake horsepower versions of the 7 and the 21. Known as the Superlight and the 21R, they offer truly awesome performance because of their incredibly light weight. At AC there is a completely reworked Ace. It's lighter, stronger, and they claim better quality. The 5-litre V8 now produces 310 brake horsepower. Lotus has restyled the Esprit's interior. Well, it still looks so great on the outside, so why change it? And alongside that you'll find the wonderful Elise and a really wild racing version, which I'm told you can have features incorporated from into your own Elise and test it for real out on the roads.
But one British supercar that simply screams out, "Look at me, touch my curves and drool over me," has to be TVR's latest. What started life as Project 12-7 last year has become a production reality, Speed 12. And in true TVR tradition, it was finished just minutes before the doors to the motor show opened this morning. That brand new V12 engine just dropped in place. It's an absolute monster with 7.7 litres under the bonnet and a bit of a monster price tag to match, 150 grand. But hey, what would you expect for something that looks as good as this?
Over at Marcos, a manufacturer better known for its racing connections, the crowds have gathered to see 2 new cars.
First out from under the wraps was this, the 2-litre Marcos GTS. At around 28 grand, it's the most affordable Marcos ever. Now, both Mike and I have driven this car recently, and his tired old bones found it a little bit too raw for him. For me, it suited me down to the ground. I loved it. It's a real driver's car, and it's certainly fast, but not quite as fast as the one right behind me.
And this is the Mantis Racer. Its V8 engine gives out 400 brake horsepower, power that will be seen on the racetrack next year when Marcos launch their One Mark series.
Make sure you set some time aside to visit Chrysler's stand. They really always come up trumps, and they've done so this time. They not only have the concept vehicle, the Icon, on board, which will give you an idea of what the Jeep will look like for the next millennium, but they have this low-down, snarling brute, the Dodge Viper GTS. It stole my heart when I drove it last year. The beautiful curves will really cut a dash on any road, and that V10 engine under the bonnet will make your hair stand on end.
And if you're a real thrill seeker and it's speed that you're after, you have to head to Seat. The wraps have just come off this 200 brake horsepower Ibiza Cupra Sport, the road version of the F2 World Rally Championship winner. It'll be built to order by the team that handles the rally cars. Certainly won't have as much power as the rally version, but the 200 brake horsepower in this package, well, that'll do nicely, thank you.
Over here at Nissan, you can always dream about being one of the 100 extremely lucky people who'll get to own this, the 260 brake horsepower Skyline GTR. From November, there's no more personal import premiums to buy this 2.6 litre straight six. Just a check for 50 grand to the man from Nissan will do very nicely, thank you. Oh, and you better be quick because the order books are filling up fast.
For a rather more exclusive drool, don't miss Aston Martin's new V8 Volante. It really is total luxury.
But unfortunately, very few people will get to experience even sitting behind the wheel, as only an invitation will get you on the stand. And I'm afraid it's serious customers only here on the Ferrari stand. You can look, but you certainly can't touch. And that's providing, of course, you can talk your way through security past the gates that surround these hallowed vehicles, which, luckily for me, I've been able to.
Well, we're trying to get a word with this geezer, but as you can see, there's a bit of a scrum. And the geezer in question just happens to be, can you be quiet? The geezer in question just happens to be one Tony Blair, the Prime Minister. We'd like to ask him what he thinks of the motorist in Britain.
Well, the motor industry is in pretty good shape, you know, and it's got a tremendous future. What we've got to do as a government is make sure that we have, you know, a proper motor industry that is full of confidence and doing well for the future at the same time as we provide a decent public transport system.
And government investment, sir?
Well, there is tremendous government investment in the transport system that we're making over this next period of time. We want to keep that up. And the motor industry, obviously, it's got a great future. We want to build on it, make sure that it's a successful future and encourage these types of innovation that help the environment as well as helping the motorist.
Well, one of the biggest events at the London Motor Show this year, ironically, is the responsibility of an American company, no less a company than General Motors, the world's largest corporation. They're re-entering the UK market with Chevrolet and Cadillac, and here to explain a little bit more about that is Ed Berger, a Cadillac man, I think, through and through, Ed.
You better believe it.
What's this vehicle we're with here now, and what's the relevance to the UK market?
This is the all-new 1998 Cadillac Seville. And the relevance is that we'll be selling a right-hand drive version of this car here in the UK starting next spring. The first time Cadillac's been in the UK market for quite some time now.
And what will it be competing with? What do you see as the main competition?
Its primary competition will be the BMW, the Mercedes, the Jaguar, and the Lexus models in the same price class.
We're talking about the upper echelon BMWs, we're talking 7 Series competitor here, aren't we?
Very much so, and the 98 Seville was designed and engineered from the very beginning to compete with these cars, which are the very best cars in the world, anywhere in the world, including here in the UK.
They're also very expensive cars. Does that mean that this is going to be pricey too?
This will be the most competitively priced car in the class, so we think it's jam-packed full of technology and value.
I don't want to use words like cheap, but you know what I mean. This will be the least expensive of that batch of cars.
Yes, it will. It'll be the most competitively priced car within the class.
Well, you can't be fairer than that. Thanks for the honesty. You wouldn't believe how difficult it is for car manufacturers to be honest about their prices, but we know where the car stands. You tell me now why, as a potential 7 Series BMW buyer, I should go for a Cadillac instead. We understand that it will be more competitively priced, but what other reasons are there for going for a Cadillac instead of, say, a top-line Mercedes or BMW or Jaguar?
Well, you know, when we were developing this car, we researched it in over 12 countries on 3 continents all around the world. And luxury car owners and buyers told us that 3 things were the most important to them: styling, technology, and performance. We believe this car is the best within the class, blending those 3 attributes and wrapped all around by a strong value equation.
Okay, well that's Cadillac for you, and as I said, if you chop Ed in half, you'd find Cadillac written through his veins. But we mustn't forget, of course, the little matter of Chevrolet are back in the UK as well. And what a way to come back to the UK, with nothing less than the Corvette, the new 1998 Chevrolet Corvette. Well, I happen to like the food on the Daewoo stand today, and my friend here, Mr. Mange Tout, didn't see it quite that same way, because he didn't really approve of the Daewoo diet, and he's actually decided to chop up this car and eat a car. The man is now eating shavings of metal. I kid you not, these are pieces of metal cut from the car. He's washing it down with some water. Bon appétit, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay. Ça va?
Ça va très bien.
Très bien. He's actually eating metal pieces of car. I'm just gonna. It's unbelievable. You're a nutter. You are. You're a nutter. Apparently he started this because he accidentally broke a glass in his mouth when he was a kid, 9 years of age, and it just took off from there. I wonder if we can read anything into this. He's actually eating a Daewoo. Is that the best thing for a... Sorry, no, I didn't say that. How about Mr. Mange Tout? Monsieur, this one? This one?
No.
Oh, no, actually, he told me earlier, he's got he doesn't like the orange ones. They've got to be clear. Hang on, let's just look. I think it's fair to say that is a genuine light bulb. And this lunatic sitting next to me is about to eat it. I don't know how much they pay this bloke, but...
Thank you.
You're mad. Government health warning this bloke needs. Mr. Mange Tout. He is a lunatic. Five tons of rock for lake and picnic areas, 80 deciduous conifer trees, and 30 tons of road hogging. What's road hogging?
Road hogging is the stuff that they build under roads. It's this red stuff that you can see on it in front of us. It's a mixture of like a clay and rock together, and once it's compacted it makes a very hard surface.
Right. We're now about to hit the mountain. Now this is I think it's fair to say this is a fake mountain in central London. What's it made of exactly?
Scaffold poles covered by builder's paper and then squirted with builder's foam.
All right, and we've also got 17,800 metal staples keeping it all together. We're coming up to the brow of a hill here, and I can't see where we're going. Should we be getting out and having a look under normal circumstances, just to see what's over that horizon of the bonnet?
No, if you were doing it in a forest as such, you can look for tree lines. You can pick out where the tree lines are, you know where the gaps in the trees are. That's likely where the road is going, so you aim for the tree lines.
That's interesting. And what about the sort of speed you should be doing? I mean, I find it difficult to relate to whatever 15 miles an hour or 25 miles an hour is. Is it best to describe it as, say, walking pace? That's the speed you should be doing on a route like this?
Yeah, very much so. If you go to too much speed, you're going to get the vehicle into trouble. So yeah, just a nice steady pace.
With the London Motor Show in full swing, its debuts galore in the news this week. Making its first appearance there is the delicious 156 from Alfa Romeo. This model should prove that Alfa are back at their sporting best, and we'll be checking it out and testing that claim next month here on the programme. Suzuki show their Wagon R this week. It had been criticised in some circles as a copy of the Daihatsu Move, but in fact it was launched in Japan before the Move. And with more than 750,000 sales throughout Asia, it comes to the UK already a proven success. Perhaps one of the most important models, and the star of many recent crash tests, is Mercedes' new A-Class. It's already on the streets of Europe, but this is the first chance for us to see what some are saying is the most innovative small car since the Mini.
Well, a little bit more history is being made here at the London Motor Show. Not only have we got Cadillac and Chevrolet entering the UK market, we've got a revolution going on in the taxi trade. Tell us what's happening.
We've stopped production of the Fairway taxi, which we've been making since 1959, and we're replacing it by the wonderful new TX1, which is first being shown to the public at the London Motor Show.
But this is, I didn't realise you were actually halting production of that familiar, much-loved shape. I mean, that's gone. I mean, that's like stopping production of the 2CV or stopping production of the Volkswagen Beetle, isn't it?
Well, it is indeed a very, very popular product, and its beacon of light, the taxi light above its roof, makes a real haven of space, of private space in public transport, which will take you away from the rain and take you to your right destination. Well, that's the background that we go to. It's because of our skill in making that Fairway taxi that we've been able to make a TX1 taxi. And we make it with the same sort of standards, which is 1 million miles of travel, which people have got out of their Fairway. There are many Fairways around that are more than 20 years old, which are doing business in the streets of London. So it's that background that has made us make the TX1, and we're making it better with more features for the passenger than the old Fairway used to make.
Gone are the days when you feel that you're sitting in the back of a noisy, kind of almost agricultural type vehicle. I mean, this is very much a modern motor car, isn't it?
Well, we spent about £20 million making this taxi into the best taxi in the world. And there's no other country that has got a taxi system like London. It is really the best around. And when you have a travel, you should travel in something that is comfortable and has got lots of extra features, like a power socket on which you can recharge your portable phone or your portable computer. And a child seat, which comes down of the armrest so that you can take your child in safety.
Well, it's a unique vehicle, like all London taxis are unique vehicles. They have to conform to a series of requirements from the Public Carriage Office and therefore the Health and Safety Inspectorate and so on. Now, what they have to do is to put into a traditional shape new technology. The thing about this cab is it retains its instant recognition on the streets. If you were walking along and that cab came past you today for the first time, you'd know it was a cab and you'd know it was a traditional London cab, yet at the same time when you climb in you'd realise it's the state of the art for the new millennium. That's very important from the cab driver's point of view and of course from the passenger's point of view. It brings together all the things that we've learned over the last 15-20 years. The automatic transmission is smooth, the turning circle of course, which everybody knows about, air conditioning in some of the models, the safety factor in the back of the vehicle for the passenger, the accessibility for wheelchairs for example. They've increased the height of the door, so the old bit about mind your head, bang, ouch, that's all gone now. So in other words, it's people friendly, people recognisable, safe, efficient, and the other thing is, of course, what people don't realise, a new cab on the street is a vote of confidence in the cab trade well into the 21st century.
Well, this is my office. In fact, it's the boot of a Cherokee. We're on the Jeep stand because we've been eating all their food and drinking all their non-alcoholic drinks. We've been preparing for the show. And what do you do? I mean, preparing, look at the junk we have to put up with. Vauxhall send this in the post and say, please wear this at the show. Can you imagine me wearing this? Polyester. Polyester. If anyone got a lighter, we'll set fire to that. What about, Skoda? I don't know what they're going on about. They got some Eastern European rubbish. Bring this invitation with you and have the chance of winning a weekend in Prague for two. This is what they're saying to the journalists. Second prize is 2 weekends in Prague. I'm not sure that is. In true French tradition, champagne, breakfast, lunch, afternoon tea. That's from our friends at Renault. Oh, their colleagues Citroën are talking about breakfast on their stand from 7:30 till 10. Actually, this is the one that gets me. This little document here, if this ever got out, if anyone knew what really went on behind the scenes, this is a letter you can see from Renault. It's addressed to me, dear Mike Rutherford, faxed to my home address, and I quote, would you like to join Alan Menu, the BTCC champion, and Jason Plato, his driving colleague, for an evening at a London restaurant called School Dinners? And I quote, you will be served by waitresses dressed as Centrinian schoolgirls. A cabaret and the whole proceedings will be run by the headmaster. People can be, / will be, ? Invited onto stage to administer spankings or be spanked. If this ever gets out into the public domain, this will discredit the car industry and the motoring journalist trade, if we can use that word. It's outrageous. Private eye mustn't get hold of this. Don't tell anyone. And I should add, I didn't go. I wouldn't be seen dead at an event like that. Honestly. I spent the night with Mitsubishi, eating their food. What's this? Kia Motors, freshly grilled bacon butties. They've gone up market, haven't they? More from Renault. I don't know, who's this? Daewoo. Oh, do you remember the bloke from Daewoo? Monsieur Mange Tout. Do you remember him? The bloke who was eating cars. He tried to eat my microphone as well, but it wasn't very successful. Actually, if you'd eaten the food on the Daewoo stand, you'll know that metal and glass tastes a bit better.